Juicy Chemistry is India's first certified organic skin and personal care brand with over 150 products in certification, right? However, whichever route you take, it's important to give that regime some time for it to actually show results, right? Patience is the key. Before patience, understanding the right ingredients for your right concern is also extremely important.
There is this trend of niacinamide, retinol, all of these chemicals and all of these things which come with a lot of other brands which they offer, and straight away on the packaging chemicals and everything is written. What is the difference between and what are the benefits of going for a natural based product and a highly chemical potent product?
A very key factor for us is what is the science behind our formulation, what actives in the ingredients that we are looking to work with. That determines our sourcing story, and that determines what goes in our product and what's left behind. And whatever goes in the product, our job is to make sure that gets delivered to you on your skin, therefore you start seeing results.
Welcome to this segment of Unfiltered Conversations, and today we are very much interested to know about the world of sustainability, beauty, and the amazing story of Juicy Chemistry and how it began in 2014. Introducing Pritesh Ji, whose dedication to asking questions at every turn resonates deeply with my own principles. Since 2014, Pritesh and Meghna have been tirelessly working towards a more sustainable and holistic skincare approach through the inception of Juicy Chemistry. Today, I'm delighted to have Pritesh Ji, co-founder at Juicy Chemistry, with us as we delve into debunking misconceptions and clearing up myths surrounding skincare. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Pritesh Ji. Thank you for joining us in this insightful conversation today. Thank you for honoring us with your time and coming on board for such wonderful conversation, because I personally feel that sustainability is something which has to be considered very seriously in today's day and age. And with the whole transformation of Gen Zs going towards sustainability and our homegrown Indian brand taking these steps forward of asking the why in every product, in every thing they notice around them, is something which we are personally fascinated about you and Juicy Chemistry. So welcome, and would you like to say something to our audience?
Devani, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Super excited to be here on the podcast today. Thank you for having me. It's an absolute honor to share 2 cents of mine through this journey of Juicy Chemistry. Glad to be here and take a few questions and also debunk, like you said, some of the mysteries of surrounding skincare, sustainability, and some of the extreme insights that I have actually had the opportunity to learn in this journey. So really excited to have this conversation with you.
I would like to start with one of the interesting stories I read about you and Juicy Chemistry and Meghna ji. You have been a very curious person since the very beginning, and you've been, the petroleum industry like in and out. And you also spoke about on your website that you always question the ingredients which were written at the back of the products and were they certified organic or not. And that was a shocking revelation for you that whatever is claimed about products is not what they serve. So let's start with understanding and what does organic mean, and why did you start with this whole journey, and what were the shocking revelations you had when starting a journey?
Yes, Devani, I think it was a an aha moment for us as well. Like you rightly said, my family business was into manufacturing of industrial automotive lubricants. Through this journey, I was very interested in formulations surrounding industrial automotive lubricants, engine oils, gear oils, cutting oils. We used to manufacture greases. Obviously, that sort of had a lot of bearing in terms of intriguing my interest in the manufacturing sector. It just happened one day that we were on a regular visit to the mall and somebody tried to sell us an organic and natural product. The reason why that got me interested is because Megha is always looking for natural and organic products because of her PCOD condition. She's visited many leading dermats in the country. What she actually realized was, when she was going through the motions with, these treatments that were happening to address, skin and hair issues related to PCOD, the effects of these products were very minimal, or they were only lasting through the part of the journey, through the part of the treatment, right? And once the treatment was over, the results didn't actually last very long post that. So she was always looking, and obviously, with these medicated products or on the shelf products, the issue was also about side effects that she was facing with flare-ups, redness, rosacea, and also hair fall and things like that. So she was always looking to go natural, find out alternatives for her existing skin and personal care range. So when somebody tried to sell this natural, quote unquote, organic product, it intrigued my interest, and I saw hibiscus, amla, and neem on the front of the label, and just to strike a conversation out of boredom, I just looked at the back of the ingredients, and to find out that almost 70-80% of the formulation was water, colors, preservatives, parabens, sulfates, fillers, artificial fragrances, and so on and so forth. And I could recognize some of these ingredients because of my background in petrochemical manufacturing as well, right? So that was a very big, I couldn't understand, I couldn't comprehend why an Ayurvedic or a natural or organic claiming product contains such large amounts of petrochemicals in them, right? So when I asked, why was the formulation so, obviously they didn't have an answer because they were just there to sell the product. Didn't understand anything about formulations. But when I showed this label to Megha, while she was a little taken aback, but she just shrugged off and saying that, listen, यही available है, right? और कहाँ जाएंगे ढूंढने के लिए, जो best है वही available है, right? So unfortunately I'll have to go for these options. But that sort of stayed in our minds over a period of time, and then we started deep diving into understanding why these formulations were so, and we started questioning ourselves: is it possible for us to go back onto the drawing board and start creating just products for ourselves, nothing in the commercial sense of things, but just so that we can start using organic in our own realm of things. And that's how we started questioning why these formulations had what they had.
That's amazing, because I don't know if you must have studied the data that from 2022 the skincare and beauty industry has, as per the McKinsey report, has gone to a $430 billion revenue worldwide. And sustainability plays a major role in the whole transformation with the Korean beauty coming in, with all the sustainability products coming in, with all the awareness which is there around. And you have been, I think, the key players who started off this trend in India back in 2014, when parabens and everything was relatively like new words for us to even understand. So can you tell me more about how does the sourcing happen? How do you manufacture? How are the packaging processes happen? Because I know it is tough to maintain, or to, you've also written in all of your products, like you've been very honest on your websites, or even if you go on any of these, I think it's on Nykaa also, I have read that the shelf life is much lesser than other products, and you've been very honest about it. So can you talk about that, and does it impact your business in any manner?
Absolutely, Devani. I'll take this question in parts, right? Obviously, the first thing is, sustainability, as you rightly said, is one of the key consideration factors for Gen Z and millennials today. I'll be very honest with you and be as candid as possible with regards to sustainability, right? Sustainability is a word that's thrown around very easily, but is also one of the most misunderstood terminology, and a lot of people think what sustainability is a part of the entire process, but actually sustainability comes from imbibing it as a DNA of what you do at the core of your business, right? So I think we understood this very early in our journey that if we had to take down the sustainability route, we will not take the sustainability route only to market sustainability. We will imbibe sustainability at the very core, at the very DNA of the brand, right? So when it comes to sustainability, it's not just about how the product is packaged or where it's sourced from, right? And I'll tell you a little bit more about it. At Juicy Chemistry, the sourcing story is extremely strong because we believe that garbage in will always give out garbage out. At sustainability, whilst it is one of the core consideration factors when it comes to ingredient sourcing, for us, we look at the problem very differently, right? We are a skin and personal care brand that's in the market to give solutions to problems, right? And how do we attain to solutions? When we want to work with a formulation, we run to farmers. We don't look at lab grown ingredients. For us, the ingredient that we want to work with has a very high importance because we truly believe, and science proves it,
correct,
that everything that we need for a healthy and beautiful skin is available from nature's lab, right? So for us, the source of this ingredient becomes extremely important. I'll give you some examples, right? For us, we source a lot of ingredients from farmers that are not just based in India but also internationally as well, right? So they do farming of roses, they do farming of aloe vera. Now you would probably think that roses or aloe vera to yahan pe bhi available hai. Why do you have to go all the way to somewhere else and then get these ingredients sourced from international sources? The reason is it's not just the source, or it's not just the ingredient, but also where it grows. What is the environment in which it grows, right? And therefore, what are the phytoactives that are alive or available to us when we are formulating the product, right? So, for example, we source our aloe vera gel from Mexico. The largest organic farms in the world, over 500 hectares plus. They've been farming aloe vera for the last couple of centuries there. Pristine environment. The reason why we go there is because the aloe vera is grown without use of any insecticides, pesticides, fungicides, no GMO ingredients. It's grown at least to a 3.5 to 4 year old crop, so that it can produce enough phytonutrients for it to be reaped, right? If there is no phytocompounds that we want to work with in the plant, and just to claim aloe vera is there in my product, but if it's not going to deliver those phytonutrients, it just doesn't make sense for us to work with aloe vera, right? Because we don't use any chemically processed agro ingredients, we rely on physically processed agro ingredients. So having an 800 parts per million of polysaccharides is the minimum basic requirement that we have as a cutoff when we want to formulate with aloe. Same way with roses, right? We use Bulgarian roses in our formulations because the polyphenols that we want to work with, and the astringent properties and the other phytonutrients that we want to work with, are highest bioactivity is available in Bulgaria in the damask rose variety. So it's important for us to identify the right ingredient from the right source. Now, how do we get them over here? There is also a greenhouse gas consideration. There is also a sustainability consideration that we have to take. Right? So obviously we work with farmers way ahead of time. We understand the cycle of the crops, and therefore bulk deal with the farmers, so that the effect that our environmental impact on our sourcing becomes the least amount possible, right? So that's the sourcing story. Now, once it comes over here, Juicy Chemistry is India's first certified organic skin and personal care brand with over 150 products in certification, right? Now, this certification is not just to say that the product is organic. We realize that this certification actually encompasses the entire gamut of organic and sustainable way of approaching skin and personal care formulations, right? So right from sourcing to the way we are actually processing. Some ingredients, can be processed in a certain way. Some cannot be processed in a certain way, right? Irradiation, for example, is not allowed in the processing of our ingredients as per the EcoCert standard. So what it does is actually gives us a very strong guardrail to ensure that not just the product, right? There's a clear traceability to the product. Because there is no use of insecticides, pesticides, fungicides, we actually reduce the toxic load, not just on the soil, but also in the environment. I'm not sure if the audience will know this, but fertilizers, use of fertilizers is the second largest greenhouse gases emitting process that we do post burning of fossil fuels. So when we actually look at organic, we are looking at it holistically, right? We're not just looking at it from the production or from the supply side part of it. In the EcoCert standards, we also have to we also have to regulate the kind of packaging material that we are using, right? So it has to be sustainable, it has to be reusable, it has to be approved by EcoCert within those guardrails. And it also talks a lot about the ingredients that can be used in the formulation, right? So the consumer actually knows exactly what goes inside my product, right? So they can make an informed choice about what they want to put on their skin and what they want to avoid, right? So there's a clear label guidelines that EcoCert provides that the consumer, can actually just turn around the back of the label and just glance through, and they'll know exactly what they're getting. Now, it's not just the packaging, right? I'm sure a lot of times when the consumers are looking for sustainable products, they forget to actually look at the ingredient list and what's inside the packaging, not just the packaging itself, right? So when you look at Juicy Chemistry, we are actually enabling a circular economy where whatever we are taking from the farms or from the organic farms that we're working with, how we are packaging it, how we are manufacturing, how the consumer actually uses it, and post using the product actually that's drained out back into the environment because of our organic credentials is also organic. We are actually giving back what we've taken from the environment, right? Now that's a complete sustainability, circular economy that I don't think consumers generally tend to focus on, right? So it's not just the packaging, it's also what's inside the product that's absolutely important when you consider sustainability as an option or a choice that you're looking to make.
Yeah, and then I think what you mentioned about soil to shelf, that is something which I have constantly heard after EcoCert, that you are somebody who believes in soil to shelf. And also you spoke about the chemical properties of any product. So I want to ask you a question that, there is this trend of niacinamide, retinol, all of these chemicals and all of these things which come with a lot of other brands which they offer, and straight away on the packaging chemicals and everything is written, and the consumer gets very confused of, what is my skin type, what do I try? Sometimes it adversely affects the skin. So you spoke rightly about, you need to be very conscious about the choices, and that's what happened with your co-founder also. So can you talk more about what is the difference between and what are the benefits of going for a natural based product and a highly chemical potent product? Because there's a big debate about both of the things.
Sorry, Devani, I sort of lost you for a couple of seconds there, but I sort of get the question, that there are, 100%, in the last half a decade or so, there has been a lot of, products, a lot of delivery mechanisms, if I may put it in a scientific way, to address skin and personal care concerns, right? And we all come from different school of thought.
Yeah.
There is a way in which chemicals or actives, chemically derived actives or synthetically derived actives work on your skin, vis-a-vis how a plant-based active delivery system works, right? Now, is one better than the other, or is one the culprit, the other is not? I think it's a very, I don't think there's a right way to look at it, right? As far as skin and personal care is concerned, the beautiful thing about this industry is, not all of us are made same, right? All of us react, all of us have a very different way of finding our own routine and regime, right? So to say that one is better than the other is probably not the right way to look at it, right? But there is also one thing that I would like to tell the audience that are listening in as well, that natural does not mean that it's not scientific, right? It's a very common misconception that generally the audience have, saying that chemical versus natural. I think what we've done at Juicy Chemistry is is definitely, I wouldn't say married this, right? Because it's a very wrong thing to say, because it's been married long time back. Ayurveda as a science has done that long time back. So it's not something that we are doing new today. What we are actually doing is throwing light on the amount of options that are available to the audience today in the organic realm of things, right? When we look at organic, we are not just looking at it through the lens of we are using natural ingredients. What we are looking at doing is we are looking at the physical and chemical properties, the chemical compounds that are available in these natural ingredients, formulating it with enough percentage of the natural product inside the formulation for it to be bioavailable to the skin, right? Unfortunately, in the past, there has been a lot of greenwashing that has happened by brands, which actually has led to consumers thinking that natural है, हाँ, शायद harm नहीं करेगा, पर इतना effective भी नहीं है, right? So that was the general mentality that the consumers came, and through our research, we found out that consumers, when we talk about Ayurveda or natural products, they generally tend to feel that we understand that Ayurvedic is good for us, but we want something that is going to be effective. So that actually was a very big revelation for us as a brand, saying that, so why is the consumer looking at these two things differently, right? Natural and organic is a science in itself, a science of delivering phytonutrients, essential fatty acids, compounds that are so potent, but if formulated right and in right quantities for them to be bioavailable to the skin, then they actually start showing visible results on skin, right? Previously, I would say that the companies that have tried to go down this natural route or are still heavily going down the natural route, unfortunately have used natural as a way of marketing rather than a way of delivery mechanism, right? So that's the difference that Juicy Chemistry wanted to bring in. To say that, for example, right, a lot of actives have been used today. Like you rightly said, that the consumers are absolutely confused about, when should I use retinol? When should I use niacinamide? Is my skin actually compatible to niacinamide or vitamin C or kojic acid, malic acids? The appealing solutions as well, right? So consumers actually, depending on brands in fact are also looking up to influencers to pass that knowledge on to the consumers. But the thing is, not all of us are made the same, right? What is going to suit me or what's going to be compatible for me is not going to be compatible for you. Organic is a different way of addressing skin and personal care concerns. It's a more assistive way of addressing concerns versus a reactive way of addressing concerns, right? So both of them are very different in their approach, but is one more effective than the other? Absolutely not. If the formulation, if the understanding of the physical chemical properties of the ingredients are right in the formula, and you are actually delivering those phytonutrients for a particular skin type or concern, like for example, if you're looking at acne, as a concern, if you're looking at pigmentation as a concern, if you're looking at hair fall as a concern, are you choosing the right phytonutrients, phytoactives, key essential elements that you want to bring from that particular produce into the formulation? And if they are actually active, plant actives are alive and available to the skin, then you will definitely see results. It's all about the understanding and the science behind organic. So to say that one is a scientific approach versus the other is not the right way to look at it. But yes, there are more ways of addressing skin concerns than one, right? One is the Korean beauty that consumers today, especially millennials and Gen Zs, are dabbling with to understand how it's going to enhance their goals or speeden up their goals of healthy and beautiful skin or hair for that matter. For us, our approach to this is very different, but I wouldn't say one is better than the other. But yes, it's very important for consumers to understand what they are actually doing to their skin, because if you don't understand your skin type, you don't understand the the ingredients that you're going to be using to address those particular issues that you're facing, more often than not, you will end up doing more damage to your skin than do any good, right? What we are seeing as a trend is consumers are actually jumping acids or actives too fast without actually giving them time to work, not understanding what is the science behind formulating those products and why you should actually be using that for your concern. I think understanding or questioning the brands, or reaching out to the brands to ask about the right way of using the product, the right way of layering your actives is. It could be an organic approach, or it could be an approach which is more synthetic actives, or it could be Ayurvedic in your approach. However, whichever route you take, it's important to give that regime some time for it to actually show results, right? Patience is the key. Before patience, understanding the right ingredients for your right concern is also extremely important, because अगर आपको problem ही मालूम नहीं है तो आप address क्या करोगे, right? How will you go about selecting the right methodology to address those concerns? So understanding that is at the core of whatever we choose for our for skin and hair.
I think that's a very detailed, and a lot of questions were answered with this, because I have my friend circle, or I see a lot of Gen Zs being confused about what product to opt for, or a celebrity just puts out a thing that this is something which I'm using, and then everybody just goes and buys that out. But you said it absolutely right, and I'd like to add that it's not just about the external beauty, but you have to take care of your internal self also, like wellness or taking care of yourself, having natural organic food items, or juices, or everything is also equally important as your outer beauty, and that's how the overall holistic approach is visible. I also believe that dermatology, or going to the doctors and just understanding what is right for your skin type, and then just going and buying it out, like just doing those tests, is so important. I also want to say that the rise of wellness or clean beauty has been at the all-time high right now. Now the lines are blurring between beauty and wellness. And I think globally, the beauty plus wellness combined opportunity sits at 2 trillion globally right now. And Gen Zs value the brands that have authentic and approachable image and a storyline. So I would like to talk about the brand story which Juicy Chemistry has put out brilliantly, because it's not just the ingredients, but how authentic and how approachable that story is, that image is, and having sustainability as a focus at its core. So can we talk about how did you build a brand that scaled up across India? How was that possible? Like, what were the marketing, branding approaches you used? Because Gen Zs always value brands who are very authentic. People who go for selling their story via marketing tricks or sale, all of that doesn't work these days. You have to be very honest with that. So can you talk about that angle of Juicy Chemistry?
No, absolutely. I think at the core, like I said, right, at the DNA of the brand, I think we imbibed transparency, trust and traceability, right? I think the 3 pillars of Juicy Chemistry were trust, traceability and transparency, right? And that's because we as consumers were not clear about what the brands were actually selling us. Whilst they were claiming Ayurvedic, natural and organic, there was no clear traceability, there was no clear vision from the brand side to tell me as a consumer that, listen, we've done the due diligence on your behalf, and therefore you don't have to worry about this, right? And that's exactly what we as consumers wanted to know. And since we didn't get that, we wanted to actually build on this narrative, and to tell the consumers that, listen, we have done all the hard work in terms of sourcing, manufacturing, understanding, researching, and giving you clinically tested, proven products which actually have efficacy on application, right? So that was at the core of everything that we wanted to do at Juicy Chemistry. And I think when we started off, it was very clear for us. It was talking about our journey. It was talking about our research, our deep dive into organic, in the world of organic itself, right? I mean, once we started going deeper, we understood that जो हम ingredients जो use कर रहे थे before us going the organic route, there was, we were reaching out to our suppliers for, listen, we want to formulate with almond oil. We want to formulate with jojoba oil, because jojoba oil is 96% in itself ceramides, right? And it's got phenomenal omega 639. It's got ceramides 3 and 6. How do we incorporate that in our skin and personal care regime? But when we actually started sourcing these ingredients, we also understood that कि जो हमको supply आ रहा था उसका सिर्फ कमर्शियल नेम जोजोबा ऑयल था, बट वी एब्सोल्युटली डिडंट नो कि ये कौन सा क्वालिटी है, किसने इसको सो किया है, कहाँ से रीप हुआ है, who has cold pressed this oil, where any synthetics or chemicals, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides used in actually creating this or cold pressing this oil, was it even cold pressed or was it extracted through a hexane method? We absolutely had no idea around this, right? And that's the reason why we actually dwelled very deep into this narrow tunnel, which led us through, opened up a lot of can of worms for us, right? Because we started understanding that यहाँ पे we don't know, we are not very clear कि ये jojoba oil actually है कि नहीं है, या फिर ये adulterated है, right? Because we were very clear on this, right? Garbage in is garbage out for us. Because we are not going to use any synthetic actives and we want to work with potent natural active ingredients, the quality of the product needs to be top notch, it needs to be therapeutic grade, it needs to be 100% pure and clear traceability, right? So once we started doing this for ourselves, we started getting the answers even for the consumers, right? And this one logo, EcoCert, actually tells us, marries the entire story, right? It marries the sourcing story. It marries, processes that are actually getting used in our manufacturing technique. It also marries trust because, it tells the consumer that a third-party agency has done all the due diligence, and me as a brand is not just claiming कि हम organic हैं. मेरे नाम पे सिर्फ organic होने से product organic नहीं हो जाता है.
Correct.
So that was very clear for us to tell the consumer that we are not just claiming that हम organic बनाते हैं. Every single product will actually carry a logo which will tell you how much percentage of organic is there, how much percentage of natural is there, and what percentage we've used each product, right? So I think that traceability, trust that we created earlier on in our DNA helped us gain the trust of the consumers. Consumers actually were able to see the kind of quality that we were delivering through our products, and more importantly, the consumer is actually coming to us with a concern, right? They're coming to us with a concern saying, listen, I'm having pigmentation issues, I'm having acne issues, I'm having hair fall issues, postpartum, there has been an increase in hair fall, there's been obviously stretch marks that we want to address. We were actually able to deliver efficacious results through our organic credentials, right? So that became a very, very large story for us, and consumers started, not just believing in the story because we were saying it, they started believing in the story because they saw results. And today I think a referral journey is such a strong journey for us. We have over 65% repeat rate on our own platform, and so that tells us something about the way we've gone about approaching and connecting with our audience, right? So like I said, it's not just about marketing the product, being it natural and organic. A very key factor for us is what is the science behind our formulation, what actives in the ingredients that we are looking to work with. That determines our sourcing story, and that determines what goes in our product and what's left behind. And whatever goes in the product, our job is to make sure that gets delivered to you on your skin, therefore you start seeing results, right? There is no magic here. It's a completely science-driven, data-backed approach to skin and hair health.
It is fascinating to know that you have 65% of return rate, and I remember the first product which I bought like many years ago was your lip scrub. It was like absolutely a bestseller product which I got, and there's no coming back. Like I love that product which you have, and my mother also, like I told them that I'll be interviewing you today, so she's like, please tell them that I keep using your products and everything. So my mother's generation also is a big fan of juicy chemistry. She's like, do tell them that. And you've also started beauty line Color Chemistry also, which I saw. The makeup brand which you've started. It's Color Chemistry, right?
It's an extension. First of all, thank you to you and your mother. Please tell her thank you for the love and helping us through our journey. It's testimonials like this that keep us going and keep us focused on the job at hand.
I want to ask you, like, there are two questions which I left, but very interested to ask you this particular question is, what is the future of independent labels versus the legacy businesses that are there in beauty?
I think the legacy brands are here to stay. Obviously, they've done something right in terms of product, in terms of penetration, in terms of marketing, in terms of connecting with the consumers. What the new age brands or the new labels are doing is having the capability of experimenting fast, failing fast, learning quickly, and adapting to and listening to Gen Z, millennials, or even the new age consumer today, right? Not just Gen Z and millennials, but also consumer in general as well, is evolving in terms of their requirements. They are looking at comfort marrying with honesty, with ease of use, with comfort. And also make sure that it's compatible to their health as well. So the consumer is obviously becoming more aware, more demanding in terms of traceability and transparency in every aspect of the business. And I think new age brands are able to do that much faster with a lot of conviction, with a lot of storytelling, with a lot of connect with the new age audience, right? So we are more nimble. We are more fast on our feet, whereas the legacy businesses are obviously there to stay because they've done something right. They have a very strong recall value, but I think as you go ahead, you will also see a lot of marriage between the new age and the old age, all the legacy brands in the days to come, because with that marriage, I think the consumer has a lot to look forward to, and I think businesses are built with collaboration and not otherwise, right? So I think collaborative mindset is already, as you can see in the beauty and skincare industry, has already happened. Last 2 or 3 years, I've seen a lot of consolidation, a lot of strengths coming together. The penetration strength of the legacy brands versus the agility and the nimbleness of the new age brands. The ability for the new age brands to think and launch products for the consumer is extremely quick and fast, right? We are able to turn around products much faster today than legacy brands. So I think a combination of these two is a phenomenal win-win situation for the consumer today.
Amazing. One last question, and it will be in 2 parts. First is, should anybody aspiring to come into the beauty industry as a young entrepreneur should risk it right now to do that, because it was a big risk which you took in 2014 and it was backed with all of your experience, your knowledge, all of the questions which you asked correctly. Do you think anybody who aspires to be in this industry must not shy away from trying it out? And what is the positive impact Juicy Chemistry would like to make in the future? So these are the 2 things which I'd like to ask.
I'll answer the first part first. I think, is it a good time for new entrepreneurs to come in and dwell into the beauty business? I would say absolutely. If there was a good time for an entrepreneur to do this, actually, I think it's today, or probably was yesterday as well. The business is still evolving, right? We are going to be going to a 27 billion, ARR by 2029 or 2027, 2029. We are going to be increasing by 18% CAGR. So I think our consumption story has just begun, right? But what I would tell the entrepreneurs who are looking at beauty and personal care or even hair care as an industry, I think, is to be very honest and very true to the consumer. Listen to their problems, listen to, because not every brand can do everything, right? Find your niche, try to solve for that niche. It does not have to be, is like, मैं कल industry को बदल दूंगा. That's not going to be possible. What you can actually do is, with
Yeah.
with the limited resources, with the limited, understanding that you will come in with, when you're joining the industry, it's important to be, open to reception, to receptiveness from the consumer. Keep the consumer at the heart of everything. Listen to them, understand their problems, and solve for that one problem that they've not found the solution for. So, is there a space for a new brand to come in and take the industry by storm? I would say absolutely, because for us, we still want to do a lot of things in the industry, right? I mean, we don't have the resources, the time, or the efficiencies or the energies to do everything, right? So we can only focus on so much, right? So there is so much more to do, especially what we feel in the organic and natural personal skincare industry. That there is a lot more space for newer brands to come in and disrupt the existing legacy players, like you said. I'm sorry,
Yes.
got into the question by. Can you repeat the second part of the question that you wanted to address?
Yeah, so the second one is what is Juicy Chemistry's vision for the future in natural skincare? What is the future looking like?
Look, I think that's a great question, right? Because for Juicy Chemistry, I think, being a decade into the industry, we still feel, both Megha and I still feel that we've not even scratched the surface of understanding, the world of biotech, right? I think for us now, delving into, finding newer research, finding newer ingredients, impactful products in terms of easing the consumer's concerns, problems, usability, and speed to addressing concerns is extremely exciting, as it always is when we are doing formulations with products. I'll give you a couple of examples where Juicy Chemistry has really deep dived into biotech, right? If you look at actives, right, Juicy Chemistry at its DNA, like I said, believes that, and also science proves it, that everything that we need for a healthy and beautiful skin is available from nature's lab, and we go far distances to ensure that we are getting the right kind of ingredients for the right kind of impact that we want to create. Our Juicy actives are a testimony to this biotech invention, that we are tying up with a lot of R&D facilities across the world to bring newer ways and newer findings of impactful ingredients. For example, Juicy Chemistry does not use synthetic vitamin C to deliver vitamin C in our serum, right? Most of the products that are available in the market generally use an L-ascorbic acid or similar synthetic vitamin C's, but Juicy Chemistry actually uses a cellular extract, or the world's highest known vitamin C fruit in the world, which is cacao plum, has a 2,700 to 3,200 range per 100 grams of the fruit, which actually means that we are able to extract the vitamin C in its stable, natural, potent form through a cellular extraction technology. A cellular extraction technology, or a process, is first of its kind in the world, where we are able to tap into the very DNA of the plant through a cellular extraction process, which enables us in a rapid process which jumps between static and dynamic stages, to ensure that we are able to get into the fine, very delicate capillaries of the plant to extract the DNA, suspend it in a matrix of water and glycerine, so that the cells actually function the exact same way they would function when the plant would be alive, right? When they are synthesizing, an exact same way, and we are able to capture that in DNA in the bottle, right? So every single drop of that particular serum is pure potent plant DNA, right? So that's the kind of innovations that we are looking at in terms of bringing Juicy Chemistry's story for the next decade or so. Working with different labs, for example, we are working with an R&D facility in Spain to work with prebiotics and encapsulation technology, which we bring in our serums, which are a 7-day intense hydration treatment that we are able to bring to our consumers. at a price that's very reasonably and affordable to the consumer, so that we want to democratize as much as possible, and many people can join join the revolution of organic. We see our role as leaders in organic delivery of phytonutrients to the skin and hair. And I think that position for us is really exciting for the next decade.
That's brilliant, because I like to end with one statement which I really learned from you today, is that in the world where now all the big companies are looking at dropping white, fair, light kind of taglines, or claiming to be organic, all of these things, Juicy Chemistry has been like a pioneer in being way ahead of time in getting the chemical side of nature's boons what they have, and also giving an honest and authentic approach towards everything beauty and everything skincare, I feel. And that's amazing. I learned so much from you, and you have been absolutely inspiring. And thank you so much for giving us time today. And I hope that we create content around Juicy Chemistry that will reach all of our audiences and talk more about what does organic and what does skincare and beauty truly mean from Juicy Chemistry's angle. Thank you for your time. Let us know about your feedback and how you felt on coming on board with us on Unfiltered Conversations. And we're looking forward for a longer association with Juicy Chemistry.
Absolute pleasure, Devyani. Like I said, it was great to relive some of the moments from the last decade that Juicy Chemistry has been at the realm of everything organic and keeping consumer at heart and in the center of everything that we do. We hope to continue doing the good work, and hope that you will keep covering our story and bringing the message of Juicy Chemistry to as many people as possible.
Definitely. Happy to connect and happy to be associated with you. And we'll touch base again, and we'll discuss all the options and explorations we can have together under Unfiltered Conversations, because alongside you, we have a lot of celebrities which we do the shoots. I wish that I could do this shoot offline with you in Coimbatore, but that was not possible right now. But I aim to do that in the coming months or whenever it is possible for me, so that I can create a docu-series around it. And also I work with a lot of celebrities, so I would love to integrate and see how we can explore an opportunity of collaboration of Juicy Chemistry and all the Unfiltered Conversations I have together with that, and see what we can do.
No, absolutely, it'll be a pleasure. I think you're based out of Mumbai, is it?
Thank you so much. Based in Pune. We work with one of our clients in Coimbatore called Bloom Buddy. They also own Lakshmi Mills there, Aditya Pathi. So yeah, so we have our clients, so they have helped us in arranging all the crew and everything today for this one. But looking forward to coming to Coimbatore and having to experience it in person. Thank you for your time today.
Absolutely, really enjoyed our conversation, Devyani, and I hope we can meet in person sometime when I'm in Pune next, or more so, you should come down to Coimbatore.
Yes.
We'd love to take you around as well. Glad that this went really well. If there is anything that you need from our end, please do let us know. If there is any reshoot or anything of that sort you require, happy to.
Definitely, yes.
Awesome.